This morning, you have been seeing the story of this guy all over the newspaper. He is the guy who went over Niagara Falls, Kirk Jones from Canton, Michigan. He floated over Niagara Falls, and I believe he is actually certainly not the first guy to successfully go over the falls, but he is the first person to go over the falls with really just wearing the clothes on his back, because everybody else has had some kind of protective device or in a barrel or in a boat or whatever it is. But we have a guy here on the phone, Steve Trotter, who you've also seen all over the news today, because Steve Trotter, back in 1985 and 1995, he went over Niagara Falls in a barrel twice. Are you the first guy who's done it twice?
Yes, sir. I took a woman, Lori Martin, back in June 18th, Father's Day of 95.
Now, and Lori's from Atlanta, yeah?
Yes, she is certainly from, yep.
Why, did she hear you did it the first time and just wanted to be a part of it, and you said, all right, let's do it again?
Yeah, she the first girl I had planned on going with me, her mom found out about the stunt and backed out. But with this guy that just went over with just the clothes on his back, my brother Dan called me from Atlanta and told me this. I heard it from my brother in Atlanta before I even heard it from anyone in Niagara Falls. So I just couldn't believe the insanity of someone. You know, we don't know if it was a suicide attempt or what, gentlemen, but it was what a stupid act.
Well, the police have already ruled out suicide.
He said it was an impulse thing.
Yeah, an impulse thing, all right. But I don't know. I think that's, I mean, my construction of my barrel, the engineering I put into this, and the people that work on my craft is nuclear warhead missile packing inside, a rebreather for 6 hours of air, communication to your helicopter pilot to tell you what direction you're floating downstream. So it's a lot more. People call me insane for doing the stunt, and I don't mind. It doesn't hurt my feelings because people say it all the time. But, think about it, 176-foot drop with 1,200,000 gallons right on your tail. That's very destructive to your human body. For 2 weeks after I go over the falls, I can't walk. I feel like I'm crippled. I'm all bent up. I'm hurt. This guy made it without a scratch, unscathed, folks.
Well, now, before we get into your barrel, let's get into your head. When did you decide, at what age did you decide you wanted to do this? Was it an impulse? I mean, it can't be that impulsive because it takes a while to construct this vessel.
Yeah, it wasn't that impulsive to me. I planned it on when I was a little child. My father, Russ, took me up to Niagara Falls when I was 9 years old, and I just thought it was the most incredible place in the world, not only being a natural wonder of the world and the honeymoon capital of the world, but it's the thrill-seeking capital of the world as well. And I just had this feeling. I didn't know 15 years later, gentlemen, that I would go over, attempt this stunt, but I just had it in my head from the 70s on, and I wanted to do it. And sure enough, in 1982, we started construction, and then August 18th, 1985, on my grandmother's birthday, I was the youngest man in the history of the world to attempt and make the stunt.
Did you have the support of your dad?
No, not then. My mom was pretty ticked off with me. She wanted to kill me because she was very upset that I'd do something like that, because back then it was looked at as really insane.
Well, you didn't tell her you were going to do it until after.
No, I don't tell my mom anything, so I let her find out about my stunts after, because my stunts are illegal, and they're very dangerous. I tell everyone out there, before you do anything, make sure your engineering is right. It's because, the Niagara Falls will kill you in a second.
So did you get arrested immediately after going over in the barrel?
Oh, yeah, I always get arrested. They arrested me in 85 and charged me with a $500 fine, and now the Canadians made up some new law, and when I went over with Lori in June 18th, Father's Day 95, they charged me $14,700, so it's a little pricey to go over the falls, plus the construction of my barrel. It was $26,000, so it turned out to be a $50,000 weekend.
Well, the cost of travel has gone up in general. Now, when you're in that barrel, give us an idea of are you guys in the fetal position, or how were your bodies interlocked when you went over?
We're somewhat. My first attempt and my first successful trip in '85, I was in the fetal position with this stuff called bubblegum material around me. It was nuclear warhead missile packing from Foam Fab Company in Mansfield, Mass. They do a great job with me. You're in so tight with a 5-point dragster harness, you can't move. You're on a respirator. In 1995, when I took Lori, her head was between my knees, and we're really tight quarters. But then again, we had the 5-point dragster harnesses. My brother made sure all the cameras were set in there. My crew chief, has to make sure the whole stunt goes properly that weekend. Because, folks, you got to think about it. It's really not the stunt. It's getting away with it. getting over the falls before you get caught, because you still have to pay the $20,000 fine anyway.
Now, this is Steve Trotter, who went over Niagara Falls in a barrel in 1985 and then took Atlantan Lori Martin over the falls in a barrel. What does it feel like as you're floating down? I mean, are you aware that you are... Does it feel any different when you're falling?
Oh, yes. Folks, it's so scary, because you'd be nuts if you weren't scared. You're floating downstream, your helicopter pilot's telling you what position you're in. Stevie T, we love you coming up to 100 feet. We're going to 50 feet. We love you, but you're going over, and all of a sudden, your stomach, your throat just, it's like, very frightening, because you're falling at 78 to 82 miles an hour to a dead stop in the rocks at the bottom. And with all that water, the 1,200,000 gallons a second, it devastates you at the bottom. It roughs you up. It feels like you're in a dryer getting ripped around. It's a natural wonder. That water doesn't have any mercy. It'll kill you so fast that I keep on telling you. Oh,
So
devastating.
So why'd you do it twice?
For the rush. The rush is incredible, folks.
Yeah, well,
it's nothing like it.
And when you land, now explain how this works. You go over Niagara Falls, and then there's rocks below. You don't just land on a rock. Don't you land in water and then get washed on the rocks?
You land on the rocks. It's the whole rush. You land directly on rocks, and the water flushes you right out into the stream. But this is where I can't understand how this gentleman went over without even getting bruised up.
How do you do that?
I mean, maybe he was just...
Lucky.
God was on his side that day, you guys.
Oh, my God. If this guy's not religious before, he better be religious now.
He better be now.
He sounds like...
The thrill is like almost better than sex. Well, I won't go that far.
He had to expect to die.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good rush, you know?
It sounds like you're ready to do it again.
Oh, I'm ready to... Oh, well, I don't know. I shouldn't be saying that.
Can't say it.
I'll be getting ready. I'm ready always. For this
guy did it because he said he wants to make some money. You know, he wants to turn this somehow into cash.
It's not all about the money,
well,
folks.
Have you made any money off of this?
Sure, I've done shows. I made a couple $100,000, but that's over 17 years of doing interviews. I was on the Johnny Carson show when I was a little kid back in the day. That was my best show ever.
But how do you make money once you go over Niagara Falls?
You sell your rights, you market your product within 72 hours. It's around the world, and you make your deals a year ahead of time before you do your stunt.